For those among us lucky enough to still be ID'd in the supermarket when buying energy drinks or alcohol, I still can't believe they brought in ID for Red Bull. It's ridiculous. But I'm getting off track. Do you think you'd still get away with it at the age of 42? Well, one illegal immigrant did. Yes, a 42-year-old Iraqi, we're calling AJ, he crossed the English Channel in a small boat and is found to be posing as a 17-year-old, living with children. That's despite his thick beard, receding hairline and, quote, numerous tattoos on his arms and neck. Well, he's now staying at a 3-star hotel, where else, where other adult migrants with them while he appeals a decision at taxpayers' expense. That decision is to have him deported, of course, but he's waiting for that appeal and still in the country while he waits. Well, we're joined by the former Chief Immigration Officer for UK Border Force, Kevin Saunders, now. And Kevin, we've heard stories like this before. We've heard lots of stories like this before, but never one so extreme, so stark. A 42-year-old placed in accommodation initially for a week with children. That was until they dug up his fingerprints.
Good afternoon, Tom. Yeah, it's horrendous, isn't it? Absolutely horrendous. I have no idea how anybody doing an age assessment could have got it so badly wrong. It's atrocious. I hope whoever did it is getting some extra training.
Well, not just some extra training. I hope they're getting the P45. I mean, honestly, this is the most ridiculous situation. Apparently, suspicions were raised, given the size of the bloke, his big bushy beard, the tattoos, the balding, I mean, all the rest of it. Some pretty obvious signs that perhaps this isn't a young teenager. But then they checked his fingerprints and found that actually, I think it was the CIA had logged him as a terrorist more than a decade ago. I mean, and he's still in the country. How are we at this position now when things are so clear? Why hasn't he been deported yet?
Well, he hasn't deported because he's appealed, saying that if he is removed to Iraq, his health will suffer because he's got depression, and only the NHS can treat him. That's the grounds on which he's appealing on. Which, yeah, I know, Tom. It's absolutely risticulous. What I don't understand is why he hasn't been put in detention. I don't understand why he is still in a hotel. I would have thought this is an ideal person to have been put into detention.
Now, I know that a lot of people will be very angry at the government about this. I mean, I certainly was angry reading about this over the weekend. But it seems that the Home Office is just as angry. There are quotes in a number of newspapers of Home Office sources saying this is why they need their new legislation that we're expecting to come into the House of Commons on Wednesday. This is why they're fighting this stuff in the courts right now. How much control does the government actually have here?
Well, when you do an age assessment, then two senior officers will do the age assessment, and if they determine that he's a minor, he'll be passed over to the Social Services Department in Dover. They would go to Kent County Council. So what I can't see, what I don't understand, is first of all how two people at Dover thought that this man was over 40. Was over 17 rather, and secondly, how social workers at Kent County Council also thought he was a minor. So something has gone really, really badly wrong, and I would imagine that even as we speak, people are making inquiries about to see who did it and how and why and what went wrong, because this is a real own goal.
Clearly big failings that have already occurred, but I'd argue failings that are still occurring now. This person that was fingerprinted by intelligence agencies in previous decades, who is understood to have been a member of ISIS, now just in a hotel in the United Kingdom at the expense of taxpayers.
Yes, I really don't understand this one. I really don't. He should have been placed into detention, and I would be astonished if, for all this publicity, but in the next couple of days he's not put into detention because clearly he is a clear and present danger. If the information that we're hearing about him being an ISIS terrorist is correct.